2015, the city of Paris hosted our first climate action summit with local leaders. Back then, many questioned whether mayors and local leaders could make an impact on climate change. These days, we know they can. Time and again, cities and states have delivered where national governments have fallen short, building sustainable transit, retrofitting buildings, cleaning the air, and so much more. Under Mayor Sadiq Khan's leadership, London has helped lead the way. His climate efforts have reduced citywide emissions by roughly 37%, improving air quality, all while growing the economy. Bloomberg Philanthropies has been glad to support this work through Breathe London, which shows that cleaner air, improved public health, and economic prosperity go hand in hand. And 3 years ago at London Climate Action Week, Mayor Khan and I announced Breathe Cities to get more cities to join in. This year, we are taking the work to the next level and expanding to even more cities. This would not be possible without our partners. So I want to give a special thanks to the C40 cities and the Clean Air Fund. We're looking forward to seeing the progress that comes out this week. Thanks for being part of it. All the best.
Please welcome to the stage Patty Harris, CEO of Bloomberg Philanthropies.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our entire team at Bloomberg Philanthropies, I want to welcome you to the third Local Climate Action Summit, or LCAS as we call it colloquially. A special thank you to the Mayor of London, our good friend Sadiq Khan, Secretary General Guterres, thank you. I also want to thank the City of London Corporation, the London Climate Action Week team, and so many others for your wonderful partnership this week. Our goal today is to bring together local and regional leaders from around the world to share great ideas and spur climate action. It's been incredible to see mayors and governors continue to meet the moment when it comes to leading and tackling climate change. And today is just another opportunity to raise our ambitions and deepen our connections. As you just heard Mike say, being here in London with Mayor Khan means a lot to us. We first met Mayor Khan more than a decade ago when he was running for office. We were so impressed by his ambition and talent, and clearly we weren't the only ones. I hope you remember that day too. It was a very important day for Bloomberg. You have been one of the most active mayors in the world when it comes to the fight against climate change, and London is so much the better off for it. In 2021, he told us that his bold initiative to use low-cost air quality sensors to improve air pollution. This is something that the Bloomberg administration championed in New York City. And so naturally, we were eager to support Mayor Khan's air quality efforts and have seen enormous progress. Since then, we've spread this great idea around the globe through our Breathe Cities initiative. Through it, we've helped install more than 1,200 air quality data sensors in 14 cities, passed 26 local clean air policies around the world, and these efforts have helped reduce nitrogen dioxide, a pollutant that comes from engines and power plants, by 14%. And they've saved more than 13,000 lives. Today, I'm pleased to share that Bloomberg Philanthropies will be recommitting ourselves to this work by investing another $45 million in the fight against climate change. And we'll be adding 2 more cities, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and Madrid, Spain. The latest investment will help cities install air quality sensors, use data to identify the sources of air pollution in their city, and educate residents on the issue, and so much more. Together with our partners at Clean Air Fund and, of course, C40, we will continue to improve air quality for millions of people around the globe. Here to talk more about this is the wonderful Mayor of London, Mayor Khan. Thank you.
We can do better. Come on, that was Patty Harris, come on. Well, look, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to London Climate Action Week. What started as an ambitious idea has grown into the world's largest city-wide climate festival, bringing together more than 100,000 people across over 1,300 events to share ideas, forge partnerships, and drive action. Now, I do realise there is something else taking place across the globe, which is creating huge excitement. So as a gesture of London's friendship with the Secretary-General, I wish your beloved Portugal every success, both in tonight's game and the rest of the World Cup. Unless, of course, you come up against England. But jokes aside, I want to thank the Secretary-General not only for being here today, but for his tireless efforts to keep climate action at the top of the international agenda and to hold national leaders to the promises they have made. Please join me in showing our appreciation to the Secretary-General. Now, this year marks 10 years since I was first elected as Mayor of London. When I took office in 2016, I promised to be the greenest mayor London had ever had. So rather than talk about climate action in abstract terms, let me tell you about what that decade of action looks like through the eyes of an ordinary Londoner. Imagine a Londoner waking up this morning. They step outside into a neighbourhood with more trees, more green spaces, and cleaner air than existed 10 years ago. Their children might walk to school along a school street without traffic, making the journey safer and less polluted, or attend a school with air quality filters and solar panels on the roof. Then it's time to get to work. Today they might cycle on a network that has increased fivefold in size, board one of London's 3,000 plus zero-emission buses, or travel on the Elizabeth line, the Superloop, or extensions to the Overground and Northern Line that have transformed connectivity across our city. And as they travel, they're breathing cleaner air. You know, when I was first elected as mayor, I was told under the existing policies, it would take almost 200 years for London's air to meet legal standards. We did it in 9. Thanks to measures such as the ultra-low emission zone, toxic air pollution has dramatically fallen across our city, improving health and protecting future generations. Later that day, our Londoner might spend time in one of our parks, wetlands or green spaces we've improved or created as part of a programme that has seen us plant more than 640,000 trees and restore habitats across London, bringing wildlife back into our city from bats and bees, and of course our famous beavers back in London after 400 years. Those of you who know your showbiz might recognise the names. The first beaver we called Justin Beaver, the second Sigourney Beaver, and they've had kids or kits. Now, over the last 10 years, London's carbon emissions have fallen by almost 25%. At the same time, our economy has continued to grow. Climate action has not held London back. It's helped instead drive investment, create jobs, improve public health, and enhance the quality of life of Londoners. And that's perhaps the most important lesson from the last 10 years. Climate action is not a sacrifice, it's an opportunity. But London's story doesn't end at London's borders. What we've achieved here has helped inspire action around the world. As Mike said 3 years ago, here at London Climate Action Week, Mike Bloomberg and I launched Breathe cities. Our goal was simple: to take the lessons we had learned in New York and London and help other cities tackle air pollution and improve public health. And today, as Patty has said, Breathe Cities is expanding to support 16 ambitious cities across the globe, benefiting a combined population of 88 million people. 10 cities have committed to introducing clean air zones by 2030. And we're delighted, as you've heard, to welcome Madrid and Addis Ababa to this growing coalition of cities that are proving climate action works, or as I call them, the second and third greatest cities on the planet. Because that is the story of London, and is a story of cities everywhere. When national politics becomes difficult, cities keep moving. When others hesitate, cities innovate. When some seek to delay action, cities get on with the job. So let me end by saying this. Climate change is a global challenge that demands global leadership, international cooperation, and a shared determination to act. Few people have done more to champion that cause than our next speaker. At a time when the world needs urgency, the world needs ambition, and the world needs moral clarity, he has been a tireless advocate for climate action and a powerful voice for those most vulnerable to its impacts. It's therefore a great honor to welcome someone I hope we'll show appreciation to by raising the roof, the Secretary General of the United Nations, António Guterres.
Dear friends, it's a great pleasure to be back among leaders who are not waiting for change, but delivering it. This morning, here in London, I delivered a message to the world, and no better place to do it than London. We just heard why, thanks to the action of the mayor and its team in this city during the last 10 years. We are facing two crises: a climate crisis racing towards dangerous tipping points, one in which a temporary overshoot of the 1.5 degree limit is now inevitable, and every fraction of a degree will decide how much damage people and communities face, and an energy crisis unfolding before our eyes, driving up prices, fueling inflation, and straining families, communities, and public finance. The two crises share the same source: fossil fuels, and they demand the same answer: a fast, fair transition to clean energy and far greater protection for people already facing climate harm. No group of leaders understand this more concretely than you. You are the global ambition. You are where global ambition meets daily reality and where commitments are tested through local responsibility. You are the leaders closest to the people, the first they turn to when heat rises, floods hit, or power fails. And my message was also clear: the clean energy future is already here. Renewables are the cheapest, fastest, and most reliable sort of new power. But transition is still not fast enough, not fair enough, and not close enough to people's lives. That is why local and regional leadership is central in this regard. Because climate action becomes real through the services people rely on, the infrastructure they use every day, the air they breathe, the bills they pay, and the protection they receive when disaster strikes. And because you are turning the clean energy future from a global promise into something people can see, feel, and trust, city by city, region by region, community by community. Today, I have three asks of you. First, keep leading and over-delivering. Cities, states, and regions are already setting the bar higher than most national governments and showing what 1.5 aligned action looks like. Your actions give investors certainty and citizens confidence that climate targets will be realized. And you can go further still by turning ambition into practical solutions at scale. Second, keep using your voice and political influence. In many countries, climate action is under attack from partisan politics and fossil fuel interests, but public support remains high. 4 out of 5 people worldwide want their governments to take stronger climate action, stand up to fossil fuel interests and their political enablers, support science and counter disinformation, and use our offices and platforms to tell the story of climate action. Better homes, better transport, better jobs, lower bills, and cleaner air. And third, keep working together and supporting each other. Geopolitical tensions and divisions are rising precisely where international cooperation and solidarity are most needed. In today's fractured world, governors, mayors, and local representatives are proving that cooperation can still deliver. Your networks and coalitions are practical, powerful, and global. Continue to share what works, practical models that others can adapt and scale, from clean energy and resilient infrastructure to local finance and community engagement. Continue to prove that solidarity is stronger than division. Dear friends, the climate fight will not be won in negotiating rooms, but through the actions we take in our communities. As we enter this era of implementation, local leaders like you have an even greater responsibility to ensure that transition moves faster, becomes fairer, and delivers security, resilience, and prosperity for all. Greater responsibility should come with a greater say in national and international processes, and you have my full support, and I hope we can transform the UN in order to make local power voice more heard and more followed in the work of the United Nations. So keep pushing national governments further. Keep delivering for your communities. Keep showing what climate leadership looks like. And know that the UN will keep working closely with you every step of the way. And I thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Teresa Ribera, Executive Vice President for a Clean, Just and Competitive Transition at the European Commission.
Good afternoon, friends and colleagues. It's so good to be here today, and it is so difficult to take the floor after these two fantastic leaders. One of them leading the transformation of a great city, the other one leading the transformation of our multilateral system in a difficult time. And of course, being hosted by Patty in a moment where the combination of the different initiatives joining forces is so important. Yes, we know that climate ambition is increasingly part of the reality. We know that being part of a community that is bold and courageous is key in order to keep on building the next phase of action, the next round of ambition, the next capacity to ensure that citizens feel belonging, owning a project that defines their future. And we know that this happens at the very local level, in the streets, in the neighborhoods, in the common infrastructure, in how we can provide these solutions. It is here where the real test lies, city by city, street by street, home by home. Rebalancing global and local is being part of what we have witnessing in these recent years, and this sustained political will on climate action combines all. But it depends just as much on the shared ambition between different levels of governance. This is not to decide whether it is your responsibility, my responsibility, or the responsibility of someone else. This is shared responsibility. This is a great adventure to join efforts, to join hands, to understand that complicity among neighbors between different layers of decision is key for success. This transformation is about improving lives, delivering sustainable housing, transport, healthier environment to all. It is about mitigation, it's about greening the cities, it is about ensuring that we can live with high quality of life. Today, 47% of Europe's electricity comes from renewable sources. This is great for industries, but this is great for citizens, and this is great for cities. And there has been an increasing engagement from local communities to big cities to develop this reality. With the rooftops, with energy communities, identifying whether we speak about the sun, the geothermal solutions, the small investments that make a great difference when being added together. And yes, as the Secretary General was saying, clean energy transition is no longer only a climate imperative. It is a social shield. It is thinking on the air we breathe. It is thinking about counting on public transportation, that it is not only high quality, but it is compatible with lively cities. But it is also thinking that we can rely much more on local solutions than depending on something that we don't know how it is going to evolve, as it was the case for fossil fuels. It is thinking about energy that we can control. It is thinking and reminding ourselves that when anyone says, no, the green policies are not anymore a fashionable thing, we may speak out and say, well, I prefer to drink fresh water that is not polluted, or breathe clean air that does not bring me to the hospital. It is that what it is at stake. But this big transformation requires the funding, the efforts being supported by every different level of governance, and it needs to be transitioned in a way that is fair, that is just. Heat waves, floods, and rising pressure on infrastructure are now part of urban life. And I appreciate the efforts of Mayor Khan to give us a good example in these days to what extent this heat is with us, maybe to remain, but counting on a shadow because of the greening of the city makes our life a little bit easier. I think that if we bear in mind that social equity for a fair future is important, and the deep transformation that we are promoting requires a broad support by the citizens, we need to think about adaptation. We know that this is not necessarily easy, and probably we have not paid the attention that it requires. But we have tools. We need to think on how to design resilient cities, to use innovative tools that are emerging at the very local level, so to figure out how stress tests for identifying critical environmental and social points may help citizens, mayors to take decisions, to view what a local scenario may look in different contexts, allowing to integrate data from various socioeconomic disciplines to enable tailored solutions. For example, how to treat heat islands, flood-prone areas, vulnerable housing, disadvantaged groups, percentage of the elderly population that could have much more weakness against these climate or heat impacts. This links knowledge, best available science on risk, public management, so to take sound decisions, because this is also important, to use knowledge, science, data, facts, and not lies, fakes, or wishful thinking that do create additional problems. We also innovate when we promote a combination of nature-based solutions and energy efficient solar-powered coal public buildings, like schools, hospitals, libraries. These are safe havens for vulnerable citizens during extreme heat. And this is going to be increasingly important all over the world because nature, to a certain extent, is our strongest ally. This is why thinking about green cities is so key. If cities are where the action happens, finance is what unlocks this action. And yes, we have been trying to develop this exercise within the European Commission, so to support initiatives coming from citizens, ensuring that access to financing and making projects bankable is there. We have been supporting the EU cities mission, so to ensure climate neutrality as smart cities developing their projects count on the back from the other levels of decision, providing good conditions and guidelines so that member states thinking about regional cohesion to take this into consideration, the small scale, the citizens, the renovation of buildings, the local action, the greening of the cities. And we also feel proud working with the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy that is so active, so effective. So to support our allies on adaptation, on reducing emissions, on affordable energy and well-isolated housing. Over 14,000 cities have joined the initiative already. Together they prove that local leadership drives both mitigation and adaptation. Building on the momentum from Belém, the work now is action on the ground. Action, 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 action. It is what people expect from us to deliver. And this is where it is my pleasure to reassure our full commitment to keep on working with you all. Thanks a lot.